Say hello to our home away from home. Angela Slasher has been so good to us, but we're gonna need something with a bit more oomph. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. We're back home in Disa, Amatar Fleet Assembly Plant, and we're slightly at loose ends. We have completed the entirety of Angel Sound, the Angel Cartel epic arc, wholly on the back of the indomitable Angela the Slasher. And as a result, we have sitting in our hangar in KTAQ a Cynabal blueprint, the blueprint for a Cynabal, which is the whole purpose of this entire endeavor. But we can't build it yet, of course, because we don't have any of the materials. In fact, in our quest to build a Cynabal and get to Zarzak, we are currently here. That is an encouraging number of check marks. We've made great progress, but the rest of these subtasks from B through J are intense, and we can't really approach any of them in a frigate. And so it is time for us to ship up. Angela Slasher has been so good to us, but we're gonna need something with a bit more oomph. Now at Thrasher seems like the obvious next step. Slasher, Thrasher, Stabber, there couldn't be a more natural progression, and Stabber is arguably my favorite T1 cruiser in the game. But that's not the only way we could go. For one thing, it's not clear that we even do need to build a destroyer. We currently have 75 million ISK. A cruiser blueprint costs around 80 million, so we're within spitting distance, and we could just go all the rest of the way there with Angela if we really wanted to. We have this much money because of all of these agent mission rewards we received running Angel Sound, in addition to, you know, the 10 million or so of bounties that we've earned, and this trade, which is entirely us selling Concord emblems, mostly the 10 million ISK emblem that Marshal Trionis dropped to NPC buy orders. There's also, I noticed, by the way, this 0.0% player transfers. Some sneaky viewer sent Bill 650 ISK. Don't worry, I sent it right back. So we could go, instead of Slasher, Thrasher, Stabber, we could consider going just Slasher, Stabber. But there's another path as well. If we're going to fly Cynabal, that's going to require us to train not only Minmatar ship skills, but Galente ship skills. It requires Galente Cruiser 2 just to sit in a Cynabal, and to train Galente Cruiser, we need Galente Destroyer 3. So, we could go Slasher, Thrasher, Stabber, or we could go Slasher, Catalyst, something? That's just what we're going to do, and the something is a Thorax. I'll explain why on our road trip to Galente Losec. If we look at the tasks that are ahead of us, there are a couple that really stand out as being difficult within the constraints of our rule set. The most glaring question is, how are we going to mine ice? Ice mining requires specialized tools different from that used to mine ore. And there are two modules that are primarily used for ice mining. There's the ice mining laser, which can only be fit to Tech 2 expedition frigates. And building a Tech 2 expedition frigate will require us to first get a Venture Blueprint Original, make copies of it, go through the invention process, which is intense, and then acquire all of the build materials for Tech 2 construction, which in many cases will be even more difficult than acquiring the materials that we need to build the Cynabal. So we would really like to avoid ever having to do any Tech 2 construction in this run. The other module for ice mining is the Ice Harvester, which can only be fit to mining barges. There are Tech 1 mining barges, but the blueprints for them are over 1 billion ISK each. 1 billion! So it seems like a pretty big roadblock. But there's one loophole. Ice can also be mined with drones. Now, the ice harvesting drone Tech 1, we can buy a blueprint for it. We can use it, but it's designed for capital ships like the Rorqual, so it's 50 cubic meters in size per drone. That's huge. What's more, when you send that drone out to mine, it will bring back ice in chunks that are 1,000 cubic meters in size. So, we can theoretically mine all the ice we need without building an expedition frigate, without building a mining barge, if we can find a ship with a 1,000 cubic meter cargo hold and at least a 50 cubic meter drone bay and the bandwidth required to field a 50 cubic meter drone. There are, it turns out, 6 cruisers in the game that fit all of these requirements. On the Galente side, there's the Thorax, the Celestis, the Executor, and the Vexor. All 4 of these can field the drones and also have a big enough cargo hold that using Tech 1 cargo expanders, and in some cases also Tech 1 cargo rigs, their cargo hold can be expanded big enough to fit one chunk of ice. In the Mimitar, there's the Bellicose, kind of, but even with a full bank of Tech 1 cargo expanders, its cargo hold is only in the 900 and some cubic meters. We would actually need to find some meta cargo expanders as loot drops, which is not impossible. We can go hunting those. But the Bellicose is also a missile ship. It doesn't seem like quite the right fit from us. And then there's a dark horse option on the Amar side in the Arbitrator. But realistically, the ships that are going to be able to do what we want while still being plausible combat ships for us to do all of the NPC killing we're going to need to do to get resources and ISK, we're looking at the Thorax or the Vexor. The Vexor is a drone boat. It's got higher DPS than the Thorax really when fit out properly, but it's going to require a really heavy investment in combat drone skills, which I don't think is the way we want to go. So we're going to build a Thorax. Now the Thorax blueprint original costs 82.25 million ISK. That's more than we have, but it's within reach in bounties. More significantly though, building the Thorax is going to require 540,000 tritanium, as well as other materials, but tritanium is going to be the bottleneck, and the guns for the Thorax will cost another 45,000-ish tritanium to build. So it's not the ISK that's the problem, it's the tritanium. We have about 2 good options for getting the rest of that tritanium. The first is mining it, although if we're going to mine it in high sec, which as we know is where the Veldspar is, we're going to have to do it in a Corvette, and that's going to be a slow process. The other more interesting way forward is a concerted campaign to get our hands on modules that we can reprocess to get these minerals. We can go after some more warp disruption field generators, and if we can kill battleships, we can also go for the large battleship-sized modules, which reprocess into a wealth of minerals. But Angela, for all her charms and capabilities, has not yet proven able to take out a battleship NPC. Hence the need for the Catalyst. Now, Catalyst BPO will set us back 8 million ISK, which will stall our progress towards the Thorax, but once we're out there in a destroyer, blapping battleships with a full rack of blasters, I think we'll recover that 8 million and then some in no time. And who knows where else down the road having a blaster catalyst might be something that we're pretty happy to have in our back pocket. So our intermediate goal is to build and fit a catalyst. But to do that, we're first going to need to buy a whole whack of BPOs. Catalyst blueprint, 7.887 million ISK. Light Ion Blaster 1 blueprint, 90,000 ISK. Antimatter Charge S blueprint, 100,000 ISK. Magnetic Field Stabilizer 1 blueprint, 249,000 ISK. Small Hybrid Burst Aerator 1 rig blueprint, 125,000 ISK. Small Hybrid Collision Accelerator 1 blueprint, 125,000 ISK. And we're going to need to buy some skill books. Galente Frigate, 50,000 ISK. Galente Destroyer, 100,000 ISK. Galente Cruiser, 1 million ISK. Small Hybrid Turret, 30,000 ISK. Medium Hybrid Turret, 125,000 ISK. And there are a couple of skills that are pricey that we don't strictly need right now, but that I'm getting really sick of not having, and they are going to benefit us so much, so we are going to outlay the ISK for them. Advanced Weapon Upgrades, 1 million ISK. Thermodynamics, 4.5 million ISK. We're going to buy it. Now we're going to get these skills training straight away. Now, we've flown all the way out here to Galente Space, not only because this is where we can buy the blueprints and skill books that we need for our catalyst and for our thorax, but also because we learned a valuable lesson back when Angela was just a baby, and we were flying in the Sancha-occupied belts of Derelict. Namely, if you want to loot the modules that are going to be good for your ship and salvage the salvage that's going to build the rigs that are good for your ship, you need to be fighting NPCs that are using the same weapon system, NPCs that are using the same kind of tank as you are. With Angela, the shield fit slasher, ideally we would have been shooting angels, but we didn't want to shoot angels. But with our blaster catalyst and presumably our blaster thorax, we can be killing Serpentis. But fighting Serpentis means living in Galente Losec. This is going to be an extended camping trip. So say hello to our home away from home, the Wirkomi Corporation factory in the system of Manar. 0.3 system in a quiet corner of every shore, bordered by two 0.2 systems which should be flush with Serpentis belt rats, ready to give us the modules that we need. So let's settle in. Now, of course, the first blueprint we want to build is the catalyst. It will require 80,000 titanium, 15,000 pyrite, 5,000 mexilon, and 1,000 isogen. We had to pack light, but we were able to bring 2 of these warp disruption field generators, which we know reprocess into everything. Let's reprocess those now. Didn't get us across the line on titanium. We're still about 14,000 short, but we have all of the pyrite, mexilon, and isogen we need. And so once again, we turn to Angela. Angela, strap on your autocannons, go forth, kill the Serpentis, and bring us back modules that we can reprocess into the 14,000 titanium we need to build a destroyer so that you may finally rest. To the belts. It's been a long time since we've taken Angela out for some low-key belt ratting. Manar only has 3 asteroid belts, but let's see what's in them. Frigates and destroyers, okay. An armor repairer, that's lovely. And we'll need that hybrid ammo soon enough. Serpentis Clone Soldier Recruiter. This is a bit of a risky move. These guys are tough. But we've gotten a lot tougher since the last time we considered fighting one. I think we might be able to get under his guns. The question will then be, can we break his tank? But Gath Renton, Ukuro, Marshal Trionis, we've broken a lot of tanks. Let's see if this one works. Now the danger here is that I suspect he might be armor tanked. But it's a 1.25 million-esque bounty, so we'll take a minute. Buying all of those BPOs and skill books has pushed our ISK balance down to 59 million. So we will need to earn another 30 million in bounties before we can buy our thorax blueprint. Once we have the catalyst, of course, those bounties will start coming in quite a bit faster. But even while we're flying Angela, we can't really turn down the possibility of 1.25 million S bounty. That's a pretty big jump all in one go. And the bounty risk modifier here is 165%. So in fact, that'd be over 2 million. Shields down. The armor is not melting quickly either. And here come the armor reps. It's maybe out of our reach. Alright, Serpentis Clone Soldier Recruiter. You will live to fight another day. Over to Angatali. Here we go. Yeah, we need to be shooting phased plasma. 9 jumps away. We're heating. We're heating to get through this cruiser. Oh my goodness. That was... I've set our destination to Geico because there is a station there that sells a phased plasma S blueprint. And I think that fighting these belt cruiser and battle cruiser rats is going to be simply too painful without the right ammo. 10,000 titanium. Okay. Maybe we won't need to go buy that phased plasma after all. Oh, right. We only get half. We only get half when we reprocess. But nonetheless, half gets us halfway there. We need 80,000 titanium. We have 74.63. I'm still going to go buy that phased plasma. Phased plasma S blueprint. 80,000 ISK. And while we're at it, repair systems skill book, so we can use that small armor rep we looted. 45,000 ISK. Okay, we're back in Manar. Let's get some phased plasma building. This will use up some of our precious titanium, but I think it's still worthwhile. Remember, we're going to need to get more than just the titanium for the catalyst blueprint. We're also going to need to get the titanium to build about 6 or 7 of these, depending on how many meta blasters we can loot. So in fact, our total goal is around 90,000, not 80. So while the phased plasma is building, I mean, let's get back out there and kill some more Serpentis. So it's the cruisers and battle cruisers that are going to give us the larger modules that will help us get the titanium we need through reprocessing. But we do want to be killing and looting these frigates as well, because they're the ones that are going to give us potentially the meta blasters that would like to fit on the catalyst. So it doesn't take very long for these frigates to go down, and they could have sweet presents for us in these Christmas themed gift boxes that they're dropping. Another one of these. Another 5,000 titanium. Good news. 3 battle cruisers. These might be too painful for us to kill. Okay, so we just fought our way through 3 battle cruisers, and one of them dropped a warp disruption field generator, and another one dropped one of these heavy stasis grapplers and a 50 MN micro warp drive. And we already have a heavy stasis grappler in our hold, which means we can't pick up all of this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jettison the stasis grappler. I'm going to take the field generator, which is more valuable, and then we're going to rush back home to our home station next door in Manar, and we're going to save this spot, and we're going to quickly rush back here and grab the rest of our loot. We really need to get a ship with a bigger than 120 cubic meter cargo hold in order to keep looting all of these resource-rich modules, which seem to be dropping like crazy in Serpentis space. Fortunately, the Catalyst, I believe, has a 450 cubic meter cargo hold, which still isn't huge, but it will mean at least we should be able to loot the field after we after we finish clearing a single asteroid belt. With these 3 modules, we for sure will be able to start our catalyst building. It's fantastic news. Does make buying that phased plasma blueprint, which hasn't even finished building its first set of runs yet, seem like a little bit of a waste, but who knows? Maybe there's more yet to do in Angela Slasher's future, and maybe we'll be happy that we have phased plasma S. Only time will tell. Okay, let's do some reprocessing. We're building our thorax here in the end, so there's not really such a thing as over reprocessing. And give up all of these things. And now, if we look at our catalyst blueprint, we can begin our job. In 2 hours and 12 minutes, we will have, hot off the presses, a catalyst. New catalyst smell and all. Well, we won't have any guns to put on it. Let's start some guns building too. Now the catalyst takes 8 guns, and we currently have 1 small blaster and 1 medium blaster, so we'll actually need 7. And we have enough minerals to do that too. 7 light ion blasters, please. And then we'll need to build antimatter. And we'll need a lot of it, because 8 blasters are going to churn through it pretty fast. But we'll also need to wait until our foolish phased plasma job finishes building before we can start this. We'll do that in 51 minutes. We'll collect the phased plasma, which we might still want. We'll start our antimatter building, and then when we come back to this game tomorrow, catalyst, blasters, antimatter. Let's go. We will be unstoppable. This is a slightly bittersweet moment. We've been flying in Angela the Slasher for so much longer than we ever expected to. Not because we couldn't afford to build a bigger ship, but because we simply haven't needed to. She has proven herself surprisingly capable again and again with her 76.2 DPS and her 3,289 effective hit points. This is not a build that I would have thought would be able to tackle a quarter of what we have done with it. But the time has finally come. We have a catalyst in the oven, and it's cooked just perfect. We've also got 7 blasters, a couple of magnetic field stabilizers, and a nice starting supply of antimatter charge S. Angela, this is not goodbye. I'm sure we'll be back. But for now, I'm excited to take this baby for a spin. Look at this. And even prettier than the Catalyst ship model is its fitting screen. Oh my goodness. Look at all those high slots. Alright. Let's start putting on some guns. So first of all, our best gun. The one and only unable to bring anode light ion particle cannon 1 online. You lack the skill small hybrid blaster. Okay, we've injected small hybrid blaster 1 and put 2 and 3 in the queue. This is our only non-tech 1 meta 0 blaster. So we're pretty excited about that. We also have a medium. We have 1 medium meta blaster. Now we have our 7 regular old tech 1 blasters. We'll see what else we can fit. How much grid and CPU we have yet left after putting all of these on is going to dictate a lot of what else we do with this fit. Now I think that for sure we need... We don't have a small afterburner or micro warp drive. Angela, I hope you don't consider this an indignity, but we're just going to borrow your afterburner for a little while. Okay, so our catalyst has 8 blasters on it, a 1MN afterburner. I think we're going to want a web. And then the lows. We looted a meta armor repairer, and since we don't have enough medium slots for a shield tank, I think we want to go armor, which means we're also going to want our damage control. And let's see if one of our magnetic field stabilizer damage mods can fit on there. Oh, perfect. Okay. I think this is our fit. Let's group up these guns. Load them up with ammo. And see what the DPS on Baby's first catalyst looks like. Remember, Angela was doing a total of 76.2. More than double, 165.8. And we haven't even built our 2 damage rigs yet. I forgot. We have blueprints for 2 DPS rigs, but we couldn't build them because we only have 4 manufacturing slots. Let's see if we have... Good, we brought the right salvage. We're going to need to train another skill. What skill do we require here? Hybrid weapon rigging. Okay. Start one of those. That one increases our rate of fire, and this one increases our raw damage. And we can fit one of each, which will leave us with an empty rig slot, but it will use up all of our rig calibration. We don't really mind having an empty rig slot as long as all of our calibration is used. I also would love to put some more antimatter in the oven right now, because we're going to burn through it very quickly, but we don't have enough titanium. Which means that we need to get out there and start looting some modules. First, this beast needs a name. Carmela. Angela and Carmela. Alright, Carm. You ready? Let's see what you can do. 79 hit points per 5.4 seconds. So it's about a, what's that, 12 hit point per second tank? Which is not bad. Not terrible. It's about the same as our shield recharge was on Angela. The only problem is I don't think we can run this indefinitely. But hopefully, we won't actually need that much of a tank because of how quickly Carmela melts her prey. We can't take damage if all of our enemies are dead. Now our range on these blasters... Oh, that was pretty fast. That was a destroyer. Our optimal range on these blasters right now is just 1,300 meters. So we're not really going to be flying very fancy here. We're just webbing people and getting right up in their faces. But once we're in range, man, once we're in range, it does not last long. Whoa! Blap, blap, blap. Let's see what we got here. We need titanium. We need titanium immediately to build some more ammo. So anything we can reprocess is welcome. Also, though, even once we've got a steady supply of ammo building, what we're really doing here is we're trying to work our way up to a thorax, remember. Because if we look at these modules that we're looting from these frigs and destroyers, things like So this is a regular web, as opposed to the heavy stasis grappler that you get from the larger ships. And this reprocesses into 238. We get half of that actually. So 120 titanium versus 5,000 from the grappler. We want to be killing bigger ships if we're going to be gun mining our way up to a thorax. These Serpentis wing leaders here are battle cruisers. Angela was able to kill battle cruisers, but it was a grind. Took us probably 3 to 5 minutes for a battle cruiser, and sometimes it just felt like they were never going to break. So it'll be illustrative to see what it looks like when Carmela tries it. Yeah, so we're under these guys' guns already, more or less. So that's not much of a concern. Yeah, set our orbit to 500 rather than 1,000. I think we might go Afterburner off and see if the damage becomes oppressive. With Afterburner off, we will actually keep right in at our optimal range. Look at how quick he's going down. Oh my goodness. That is what's their DPS? 142 plus 23? Yeah, that's what 165 DPS looks like. Incredible. It's quite a feeling. It's heady. It's heady. I'm getting a little drunk on it. Why is it not auto-reloading? Are we out of ammo already? Okay. Did we bring our 5,000 ammo? This is pretty embarrassing. Oh yeah, we just left all the rest of our anti-matter charge behind. Okay, that's pretty funny. Oh. Okay, well that's not ammo. That is good news. Let's loot this one last wreck, and then we'll head back. Fit our fancy new neutron blaster. And pick up our antimatter. And then we'll come back here and finish this job, Serpentis wing leader. Don't you go anywhere. Carmela? Well done. The satisfactory first outing. We haven't found a battleship for you to feed on yet. We'll do that presently. Let's just get those guns fed. Okay, Carmela, let's all get all this out of your hold. And make room for some bullets. And let's check and see if our DPS rigs are finished yet. 2 minutes. We'll wait. Actually, while we're waiting, let's reprocess and see if we can get some more ammo in the oven already. So that's all this. Okay. 6,000 titanium. And then if we look at our antimatter now, we can build another 3,000 antimatter charge S. Although it must be said that this reprocess build ammo cycle we just went through here was net 0 in terms of titanium gain. Okay. Carmela's DPS with antimatter charge S in all of her guns is 165.8. And by putting on our 2 newly built rigs, first rig, 180.8. Second rig, 198.7. Oh, so close to 200 DPS. Almost 3 times what Angela was doing. Alright, let's go blap some battleships. For real this time. That headlight, I love it. The model on the ship is really cool. Pretty styling, Carmela. Shields are almost back. He's been repping his armor too. But that structure tells the tale. Tells the tale of what almost happened before and what will happen now. So it seems like orbiting with Afterburner on, we still more or less stay within our range. There we go. There we go. Okay, we gotta take out this cruiser first. Because this Serpentis Chief Protector might actually be able to hit us. In fact, I don't think we want to fly directly at that battleship. Because the bigger signature on our destroyer and Carmela means that we might take the occasional heavy shot if we're flying in a straight line. Unlike Angela, who was so slippery that a battleship could never hope to hit her in a million years. Destroyer's like twice the signature and half the speed. Does make a pretty big difference. But once we're in close, we're still too small and fast for them to hit. That's for sure. This guy's burning away from us. See, and then once we're in a tight orbit, we're safe. But if he's still got decent speed before our web takes full hold, as he's burning away from us, as we try and get to an orbit, he's like, we're drifting in behind him, and our transversal goes way down. But now he's pretty much parked, and we're totally safe. And he's melting pretty fast. Good. Good. Now let's just go do the same thing to this Serpentis Baron with his 500,000-isk bounty. And make sure, we just want to verify. Well, we want to do a lot of things. But this is our verification. This is our test to prove to ourselves that battleships are now on the menu. Let's get some screenshots. Considering that we're in no danger here whatsoever. Where do you think you're going? You're going nowhere at like 11 meters per second. Let's watch those armor reps come in. Are they coming in? Does he even have armor reps? Oh yeah, there they are. There they are. They are insufficient. This is going to be fast too. This isn't a grind. This is just straight up big game murder. Mining ships in the background. Scenic. Oh, I think he just hit us. I'm sure didn't even scratch the paint. His paint is pretty scratched though. Look at that. Look at all that damage. He must be in structure. Is that it? Carmela. This was the right call. Oh. Thanks for watching. I feel like we really got back to our roots in this episode. I know it was a short one, but there's another one coming up in just a couple of days. There are exciting times ahead for Carmela, I promise you.